Hello, my dear audience. This is you, ladies and gentlemen of America. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on the East-West Show with G&E TV. As you probably can tell by the way that we set up ourselves, we're about to do a debate. A debate over the past Thursday GOP, their debate, the party debate, and the past Sunday incident about the attacks launched to Donald Trump or about Donald Trump. So join me on my left-hand side. I always start with my left-hand side. Now let's do right first. Okay, on my right-hand side, Mr. Ken Henney, a writer, or I would say a activist of all social issues, not a socialist issues. I know that, and also he is a wonderful writer of a beautiful book, Life Simple, 100 Words to Live By. I would wish that he would exactly apply to his own words to show what exactly he, takes with the situation, with the issue. Right?
And I live by every syllable in the book. And happy to be with your viewers and yourself and Alan.
So Ken, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jack. Love it here.
Very good.
It's my home.
And on my left-hand side, my good friend, attorney friend, Mr. Alan Diamante. He is a wonderful attorney, basically in the field of immigration. That's why for the last few times when I had this crying baby about immigration, I turned myself together with the baby to him like the baby for milk, asking for answers. So, Alan, welcome to the show too.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here with you.
That's a good start. I put as much smile to the introduction as I could, for fear that later will end up probably in a severe debate or everybody starts putting a long face. Please do not do that.
Never.
So, my first question. Do you think or do you believe that Donald Trump did a good job at the last Thursday night's debate? So,
well, under the circumstances of the what I consider ill-intended, mean, and I'd say regrettable questioning, the way the moderators framed their question, which was all by starting out to each of the candidates, not just Donald Trump, about, oh, in Ohio, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. Why are you qualified to be president? That I think was, I lost all respect for Fox News and the three moderators. Mm-hmm. So from after the very first or second question, I'm saying, this is ridiculous. So I think under the circumstances, Donald Trump and the other candidates handled the ill-intended attacks on them in a gentlemanly and wonderful way.
All right, thank you. To Alan, please, do you agree to Ken, typically in the sense of about the ill-wishfully attack to the candidates or to the debaters?
Look, I can't believe I am at this very moment siding with Fox News. Mm-hmm. Because I have to. You know, I think before the debate with Trump, I think his support for Fox News probably would have been a little bit different.
Yeah, right.
It was very high.
Yeah, it was very high. Right. Now it's not.
Correct.
I have respect for the moderators. You know, they had to ask the tough questions. In other words, deal with the elephant in the room. And there was nothing wrong with that. Now, in terms of being presidential material and debating, it would have been the ball was in Trump's court to properly respond to the tough questions. Unfortunately, his responses weren't entirely the best responses, in my opinion.
But
right.
yeah.
Okay. So, number one, we can confirm that there is a first disagreement that the questions were not based upon ill wishfulness. Am I right? Can we do that?
No. No, they were. They had evil intent in the way they phrased the questions for not just Mr. Trump, but everybody, by pointing out all things, some of which were false, about negative things in the background of the candidates. And with all these negative things in your history, why are you qualified? Okay. And many of those statements they had were wrong. So,
do you think, Alan? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, if I may, you know, as a litigator, You know, you ask the questions, the major issues, to get them out of the way. This is something that is very common when I have a witness that there's something about that witness that could be attacked. I would rather address it myself and go to it right away. So I understood why they did what they had to do. Let's deal with the tough issues and let's move on and we'll get into the nitty-gritty. I'm not aware of any agenda by Fox News to attack Donald Trump or any of the other candidates. It was just a matter of attacking the issues, as far as I can see.
But Alan, when you go back and find negative things in the background of everybody, which I'm sure I have mine, okay, and so you try to shine a negative light on people from from things in their past. Oh no, unemployment went up on you. Well, no, it didn't. Whatever, okay. That is why not talk. These are the big issues we need to talk about. Tell us what you would like to do about those issues, rather than going negative to demean these guys, all of them, and then let them defend themselves. You throw them just in a ditch, just like in WW2, and let them squirm their way out. It's the wrong way to be honorable and attack. And like when Megyn Kelly, attacked Trump about things he said in the past, right? Some of which are true, some of which are false. Okay, you think it's a fair question?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then let me ask this.
If I may, before you
Please.
ask me that.
Yeah.
Not only do I believe it's a fair question,
Okay.
but it gives him an opportunity to respond to the issue.
Right.
She might be doing him a favor. If he responded properly in a way that wouldn't be offensive to women, for example.
It wasn't, but go ahead.
If he had responded a certain way, then it would have been better for him.
Okay.
So he had an opportunity to be heard, and I think that's important. When there's an issue with any of the candidates, an issue of somebody stealing or somebody being in cahoots with somebody or somebody inflating numbers, you ask them the question, give them an opportunity to respond.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Is this a fair question, as you think that's fair? Look, can I say it, please?
Let me hold on to that, please.
Okay, but because I got to do it.
We will do the question.
No, I have a question. I want to know if it's
We
fair.
will do the question, typically. I want my audience to know that prior to the show, when I was doing my homework in preparation for this show, I had one telephone call from a friend of mine who was given, say, hey, go ahead, fix some questions for me because I'm going to prepare questions. So his question was that, say it's not a quotation, the word to word is just the basic meaning, said, as a candidate of the United States being a president, you have to be capable of handling all situations, much bigger, much smaller than whatever is laid down in front of Donald Trump, including how to deal with ill, wishful questions. So, did he show that he had the quality, or did he not? That was the question. To that question, please, I would ask you first. Do you think he did? Do you think my friend who made the call had the right to put it that way, please?
Well, I think, the polls, he's still leading in the polls, okay? Because he's ringing bells in the hearts of Americans that want America back.
Yeah, to the point,
okay?
to the point.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah,
okay,
point
so
is that
whether I have never been myself a advocate of political correctness. I'm an advocate of the truth. And a lot of this political correctness is
to the point of the
ridiculous.
question, is he capable of handling all those questions?
Sure he is.
Including,
Of course he is.
he did, okay?
Yeah.
To Alan, so what's your response about my caller's question, please?
Yeah, I think your caller is very insightful,
All right,
asking
very insightful.
asking that question.
Okay.
Because I'm very concerned. I mean, if this is the way he responds to a question, I mean, obviously he was going into a debate. There was moderators.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the moderator who was going to ask a certain question, it was possible that another candidate would have raised the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so he should have been prepared for it.
There's no way.
And we want a president that could respond to anything at any moment and do it in a presidential way. And I think that's what this issue raises today, is whether or not Donald Trump could be presidential, because he couldn't. His response or the way he handled that question was so poor. I only could imagine if he was dealing with an international event and let's say the president or the king of another country. and he responds so poorly.
Well, I
once
don't think
again-
he'd respond like Obama with Iran, okay,
And
which
once
is
again-
very, very
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah, and once again, before we take this first break and before we come back for the second segment, though, I want to lay one prerequisite here for both of you and also for my audience is that we are talking about picking up somebody to be the highest executive official of the United States. So we got to
We hope
use
so.
different threshold, different rules or different standard. We're not picking people from right or wrong. We're picking people from good ones who is the best. Am I right? So we want to include even personalities, characters, way of talking, the art of expressions, or so ever. Right? So my dear audience today, my dear ladies and gentlemen of America, we're doing our debate regarding 2016 election. We're kind of doing some earlier one because somebody started even earlier than we did. That's a GOP debate among themselves with their hopefuls. So we're basically talking about if Donald Trump has done a good job. There is a call, say, Donald Trump. Do we follow that? Do we think that's a rumor? So stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, my dear folks, ladies and gentlemen of America. Welcome back to the show. It's discussion, as a matter of fact, it's a debate among ourselves between two wonderful gentlemen. On my left-hand side, the star, my time I start left first, Alan Diamante, attorney at law. On my right-hand side, Cam Hemming, a writer. So they both care about the United States. They both care about the fact what kind of a president of the United States we are picking up for the next term, whatever. Now, Jack Chow is here on the East West Show with G&E TV. Let's go back to where it stopped, right? Okay, now, we agreed upon with one condition, that's a prerequisite, that we got to understand that we are talking about our selection of who could be the one to run the biggest nation of the world, that is the United States. We're not picking anybody who is relatively right as versus to wrong. We're picking the best. Now, two questions. So when Donald says, referring to Maggie Kelly, says that you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes. And then he says, blood coming out of her wherever.
That's just, that's just,
quote unquote.
yeah.
What's your comment, Alan, on this statement, please?
You know what?
What did he refer to?
You know what?
He wasn't-
He didn't, if I may.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about menstruation or anything like that.
All right.
So, you know what? I'm not looking for anything under a rock with respect to Donald Trump. When he says specific words, we could focus on those specific words.
Okay.
So I'm willing to say that he didn't mean to say that, but it doesn't take away everything else he said about women.
Okay.
And he had an opportunity to really respond to the issue, and I think he did a poor job of responding to it.
Including he had a chance to correct about the previous time he mentioned women as a piece of ass.
It was Rosie O'Donnell he was talking about.
He mentioned Rosie O'Donnell, but he has said poor things about other women. It wasn't only Rosie, and he could also admit to that. But he said only Rosie. He was only referring to it, and I think it was funny. I think it was actually funny the way he said
Oh, they
it.
cracked it up, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't think it was the right thing that he said.
good.
Whether or not he was referring to menstruation or not, I don't think it was fair for the other individuals that in the debate, or even the Republican critics. Maybe I'm referring to Eric Erickson is his name.
Yeah, Red State dude.
From the Red State, that he didn't allow him
That's
to
good. That's
come.
enough for one
That was
statement.
disgusting.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
The same question I'm going to ask Cam in a different way, though, because you are a master of words, right? When we say, rhetorically, somebody has blood coming out of the eyes,
He didn't say
That
eyes. He didn't
refers-
refer to any organ.
No, yeah.
He didn't.
He did say, quote unquote, sir,
He didn't.
quote unquote, not only did I read that, but also I heard the audio.
Well,
and
I
the
watched
video
it.
and audio says
I watched it.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes. That is sentence number one.
And I think that's a
Sentence
true
number two,
statement.
blood coming out of her wherever. Okay,
you-
now,
okay.
my question,
Yeah.
let's be serious.
I'll
right?
answer it.
So we can say blood coming out of somebody's eye to refer the anger, right?
The evil
f-
intent.
Yeah, the evil intent, the whatever. Okay, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, but from a fact that we can pick up the words to
Right.
say eyes coming out of somebody's body.
Well, okay.
So when you say wherever,
See-
wherever to a woman, what could you refer to?
Only the perverts will go to menstruation for that. He had no intention of that. And what he's talking
Why
about
wouldn't
is
him-
her
why
heart
wouldn't
and
him-
soul
why wouldn't he
had
save
evil
that word?
intent.
Why wouldn't he save that word?
Well, why save it?
I see blood coming out of you.
See,
not
but
eyes.
Jack, what you're
Wherever.
missing is people, the radical left progressives
All right.
look for anything
No.
to attack and
I'm the-
destroy. That's
I'm
what
the
they're
radical
doing.
middle.
This is the right. This is not the left attacking.
Sure. And
Well,
also,
have you
and
been
also-
listening all
and
weekend? The
also-
left's
yeah,
been
and
going
also-
crazy, feeding
and
on it
also
like
the thing is
sharks.
that-
Yes, they have.
I read the New York Times. It was the right attacking him for saying
You know,
that, not the
just
not the
offering
left.
him a chance.
Don't tell
offering
me
him
that.
A chance to,
Yeah.
to make it
well,
back
in the
for
right,
his
though-
previous statement.
But see, you're right, because like the right, these other
Right.
traditional politicians that get hooked up with people that give them contributions and all that. America's tired of that.
Okay, now.
We need somebody
now.
that just says what we're thinking. Yes, boss.
Let's assume a situation.
Yeah.
If I say you, because you were a friend of mine so many years.
Forever.
If I say anything wrong by picking up the wrong word, please do not get mad with me. All right.
I love you, man. I can't get mad.
I call for a handshake for that.
Hey, I love you. I
promise,
love
right?
I love you guys.
If I say human race that is coming out of your body,
They didn't. You
which
know.
part of your body am I saying?
You know,
I'm referring to.
I think you're being. I think your
Okay, no,
comment
I'm
is
referring to. And then
ridiculous.
if I say, if not coming from your rear end, it comes elsewhere. Wherever.
Jack, you're
What do
way
I
off.
mean?
You're off.
What do I
You're
mean?
just
Okay.
off.
Well, you
Am
know
I
what?
challenging enough?
I think it
Am I
takes
offensive?
ridiculous.
It takes a little creativity to take it to that point.
It
I
takes-
don't think it's a lot of creativity. A little creativity.
Little.
He had
I
none-
think.
yeah.
I think reasonable minds would agree with that's what he meant.
Sure.
But my point is not that he meant that.
He didn't.
But the point is that he said something that could be interpreted that way.
You know what?
I mean,
I say
If
things
I
all the
come across
time.
a woman, I say, "Hey, sweetie,
Oh, Jack, come
I
on.
see blood
Jack,
coming out of your
Jack,
eyes.
look. Jack.
If not your eyes,
Jack,
where's-
don't-
where's
Jack,
your river?"
Jack, you're
Let me-
making something out of
I
nothing.
want to make this point, if I may. You know, what does Donald Trump really represent, and why is he so popular? I would be willing to say that a lot of people, like Ken has mentioned, is that a lot of people are just sick
We are.
of traditional politics. You could buy a politician.
Nothing's
you know,
getting done.
They speak from both sides of their mouth. We see it all the time, and we're sick of it. And almost every election,
want new people.
we vote for the least of the two evils at the end of at the end of it. So.
Like Bush and Clinton. I don't want either one of them.
Okay.
Honestly.
So, but the thing is, he's already fumbling now. What hope do I have that he's not going to fumble later on as president?
Well, look what happened the last 6 years. It's been a total fumble. The whole thing, America's
Let's
gone
talk about
down.
that.
Okay,
Let's
but let me.
concentrate ourselves
Okay, but
on the.
May I make my point on this
Yeah,
thing,
you
okay? Alan, and you honestly said that you thought the question was fair to Donald Trump about saying things about women or whatever. By the way, he'd never attack somebody unless he's attacked first. And that is pretty much, but anyway, here's the question. If I'm,
Oh, he did.
Let me finish.
To John McCain, he did. And two Mexican.
That's not true, because
immigrants he
McCain,
did.
no, because that's
Right?
not true, because McCain first said the Trump loonies. You're wrong. That's what he said. He did say first.
good,
But anyway,
yeah.
so here, is this fair? Okay, we're at another debate. Hillary, we all know that you let well, let me finish, Jack, please. Hillary, we all know that you let 4 men die in Benghazi. Instead, what difference does it make? That you illegally and ethically destroyed 31,000 emails, and that you attacked the women your husband sexually harassed, and you accept money from governments that kill gays and Christians. How does
Ken,
that make you
Ken,
eligible to be president of the United
Please
States?
let me-
Is that a
please let
fair
me-
question?
Please let me lead the show, please.
That's your show.
Please let me lead
Yeah.
the debate.
That's your, yeah.
It is debate about Donald Trump. wait until another day, we do a debate of all candidates.
That's not fair.
We'll pack her in. It is fair.
It's
it
not
will
fair.
be fair. Right now, we're talking about Donald Trump. Let's concentrate on Donald Trump.
We were talking about the fairness of questions.
Yeah, okay, no. There are more things to talk about than Hillary, right? So we don't want to distract ourselves. Now,
Well,
my third question-
Donald Trump did mention Hillary, and he did mention
everybody
he
did.
did mention the fact that he gave her money
we're not
for her
mentioning-
foundation.
Right.
We're not mentioning.
And she came to his wedding.
Okay, my third question. There is a saying that Donald Trump has issues or problems with the Mexican immigrants, John McCain, and the gender. So, do you think that makes a fair statement?
You know, obviously, he's raised the issues. He himself has raised these issues.
All right.
So whether he has issues or whether he doesn't have issues, I don't even think that's the big question here. The big question is what he says about immigration, what he says that reveals his position on gender issues, is what he says. What someone says, especially under certain circumstances, when the fire is put to their feet, let's say,
Right, okay.
that's very revealing to me. And I think it's very revealing to the American citizens that watch the debate and continue to watch what Donald Trump says. And I think that's the big concern. Obviously, my position on what he says about immigration, what he says about Mexico, what he said about Mr. Kane with respect to you know, his time in the military, and that he was a POW. You know,
Yeah.
it raised
As
a
a
lot of
hero
issues.
issue?
It raised a lot of issues for a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's not apologetic. I do respect the fact that he says what's in his heart. I respect that. But at the same time, what he says, if it's just mere attacks and it's not really supported by anything,
We got,
then I'm not looking at him as a valid
see,
candidate.
To Cam, please.
Yeah, the thing
My
is, like,
question is that,
yeah.
do you think do you agree he has the American immigration, he has the gender, and he has John McCain, the three part that his statement, he has a strong problem in those areas?
I don't think he has a strong problem. Immigration, I guarantee he likes Mexicans, he likes Mexico, he thinks he can outthink the Mexicans, out-negotiate them, and they do cause a lot of problem getting people in here. 11 million or whatever the number is are here illegally with no real study of the history of America, and the Democrats kind of look, these are potential voters that have no idea what America's about. And so that's my concern about that. I love everybody, okay? But I also follow the law.
He doesn't have a gender issue?
Now, no, I don't think he does. He's married to a girl, okay? So I don't think he dislikes women any more than he dislikes men, cats, or dogs. No. But he responds when he has to in a way that is, because he's not beholden to anybody, so he just tells the truth. And on McCain, Senator McCain, just getting captured, you're not a hero. But his heroic act was refusing to go back to America when they offered it.
Did he say that? Did he say that, or you added that? Look, let's make it clear.
Don't attack me for this.
No. So
You and
did
I
he
agree
say
on that.
or not? No. We're saying, did he say, quote unquote, that his refusal to coming back to be early released?
Let me tell you,
is
Jack.
a hero?
No, he didn't. But getting captured is not heroic. Getting killed is not heroic.
You
It's
are
it's
adding
it's the job of
You're
war.
adding a tail to a dog.
No, I'm saying he is a hero
You're
because he
adding a tail
refused
to
to
a
come.
dog.
That's not true.
Yeah.
He is a hero because of that act of not coming home.
All right, good.
Well,
I think that was good. I mean, just getting
I think
captured.
there's more to it than
I have
that.
30 minutes
You know,
before
I know.
wrap up this segment. Go ahead.
Yeah.
If I just may respond to what we
Yeah.
just said regarding a POW.
Yeah.
I know POWs, and
So do I.
and the fact is, you're a hero. If you survive, you know, being captured, you're a hero.
You're a hero.
Okay.
automatically.
If you don't provide,
Hero.
leak any information, you know, you're a hero.
All right.
If you enlist, you're a hero. I mean, I'm sorry, but for him
Okay.
to attack him for being a POW,
He didn't
I mean,
attack
he
him.
stuck his foot in his mouth so deep when he said that.
He didn't
right,
attack
okay.
him. Let me just
All
say,
right, all right, okay,
I
all
read
right.
the definition
Let's
of
take
hero.
let's take
That's
a
not a
short
heroic
moment now.
act.
When we come back, Well, probably we have to pick up from the definition of hero again. So stay with us.
I'm a hero
All right.
too then.
Once again, on my left hand side, Mr. Alan Diamante. On my right hand side, Ken Hamming. We all, the three of us, all love America. That's why we're so serious about the issue.
Why I wear my flag.
So stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the debate between Alan Diamante, attorney at law, and Ken Hamming, a writer and a philosopher. So they both are my friends, no matter how seriously they attack each other.
We don't.
Mutually. And I, of course, sometimes try to stand in the middle. Sometimes I have to express myself as a man by nature, all right? Now, anyway, back to the point we just left, the definition of hero, right? Anne was saying that he meant to say that his part of being captured was not a heroic act. And he is adding on it, saying that his part of refusing to be early released was a heroic act. I checked with him, I chatted with him, if Donald Trump did say that, quote unquote, the answer was no. Okay, now, your turn.
Yeah. Being captured in itself is not necessarily a heroic act.
All right.
It's a mistake.
But everything else that you do when you're in the military, if you do it right,
Of course.
you know, is a heroic act.
And to somebody who didn't
And if
answer
you
the
survived, and if you survive and you don't give in to the enemy, well, what do you call that?
All right.
Maybe you can give me an answer to that.
Yes,
one.
I can. On a previous show, I read the definition of hero and heroic, okay?
All right.
It is not just doing your job, whether you're in the army. If everybody, like I've been shot at, okay? I mean, if everybody, everybody that just goes to do their job, look at the firemen, look at the police. We talked about that, I think, one time. A policeman just going to do a job and they get killed almost, once a week or something. Showing up for work is not a heroic act. Now McCain, he was shot at and they got his plane down, okay? So, but that is a circumstance of duty, and it's not an act of hero. And if we ever get to do another show, which I love, I'll bring that definition again. It's something where you're going above and beyond the normal call of duty with an actual event of a physical danger that you ignore and perform in a heroic way. So what's bothering me is a lot of these terms are getting diluted by common, like racist and bigot. They're all diluted. If you use that seriously,
that bothers me too.
It bothers me a lot. That's the
by
point.
having a word that being a hero denied in a poor way like that, in a horrible way like that. My point is that to compare with those who did not answer the call of the country, though, was John McCain a hero, right? And that's why I still have problem these days strongly. Mr. Rockefeller, when he was called upon to serve the country, he refused. In turn, he bought somebody to serve for him in his name. Right? That's why I still have problem with. So go back to Donald Trump. Instead of serving his country, he filed 4 times the bankruptcies. And when this is compared to John McCain, the senator of Arizona, I would say that he deserves to be called a hero.
Yeah.
That's okay, but
you
you're
know
not
what?
using the.
I'm not used to defending John McCain.
Yeah, right.
Me neither.
But
No, a lot of his issues I don't
You know what?
approve of.
I respect everybody who's did their job in the military.
Okay.
Respect,
Okay.
yes.
I have respect for everybody.
love 'em.
And they all potentially could be described as heroes given the circumstances.
And they could all be cowards too.
Now, let me just tell you something. If I'm in a POW camp for a year and I don't give in to the enemy, does that make me a hero? Or is that me just doing my job?
And
Just
then
doing your
when
job.
you were offered the chance of to be early released, you refused. I did not
That's
go until my
heroic.
comrades all go.
That's
Yeah,
heroic.
let me tell you something. Everybody that goes, if you're in a squad or you're in a battalion or whatever you want to describe it, you're there to do a job. That job includes protecting your brothers.
Of course.
And your
100%.
sisters.
Of course.
Okay?
So go back to Ken, though.
Those are heroes, in my opinion.
Sure. When you say that he refers to the part about what he denies his heroic act, only referring to his only first part of being captured, when you added the tail to the dog, saying that he might refer to the latter part.
I didn't say that. I just said that was what was heroic that McCain did. But also, you say I understand words and think about words deeply.
Yeah.
I read every definition on hero, and it's not a heroic act to just be wounded.
To run
It's
for
unfortunate.
the presidency,
Yeah.
for a person who is prepared to run the presidency, he does have to do some homework, right? When
Well, I
he
hope
was
so.
thinking about attacking John McCain, he must have studied about the overall story about John McCain, right?
I'm sure he knows
And he
John
wouldn't have
McCain's
missed
story.
about the part he refused to be early released when he was offered to. Am I right?
Well,
So
McCain,
why would he still
yeah.
attack him that way?
He responded when McCain said the Trump loonies, and he said that before, and so that was what he wouldn't have. This would have never been uttered, or would have even be an issue if McCain hadn't attacked him with an absurd statement like loonies.
The guy has a habit of attacking people.
That's
and
not
habit
right.
of picking up the wrong word
Wrong.
in the best way.
He
And
responds
said-
to attacks.
He says when he was referring to Carly Fiorina.
And I like her.
Fiorina.
Fiorina.
And he said, Fiorina, yes. And he says, I just realized that if you listen to Carly Fiorina
Fiorina.
for more than 10 minutes
You're bored.
straight,
Right.
you develop a massive headache. She has zero chance. Right? And
yeah.
then when referring to Eric,
Probably true.
Eric Erickson, he
Right.
says, this guy is a loser. He's elected so many candidacies would have lost, right? So now, and Ken,
But-
Alan,
Oh,
Ken,
calling you
it is-
Ken is more
both-
offensive
both.
than
I
Brown.
need education from you both, right?
Yeah.
Is it an election a time of saying what you can do, but not
Yes.
saying that somebody else cannot do?
I agree with that. Speak
Instead
to
of
yourself.
saying-
Yeah.
Instead of saying Alan can't,
Yeah.
I say I can.
Yeah.
Or instead of saying
I agree.
Ken Hemming can't,
Yeah.
I say Jack Chow can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Or is that a time of this?
I agree.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even if you're attacked, you don't have to respond every time to an attack. And if you're going to respond to the attack, you should be a little bit deliberate about what how you respond.
right.
That's
and
true.
this has been the big issue with Donald Trump. Now, I was just thinking right now,
right.
maybe this was an intentional act by Fox News. Is that what you believe?
I believe, I won't say intentional act, I say that that is not the, if I was the moderator, I would never go to negatives and kind of put somebody in a negative light and then say, crawl out of this hole.
Okay.
That's wrong.
All right. So I was just thinking maybe they did do this intentionally.
I don't know.
Because maybe they really want Donald Trump out of
This
the
is- this is
picture.
from CNN.
And this
Right.
is what I'm suspecting. Maybe they do want Donald, and when I say they,
They could.
I might be the traditional Republicans would like Donald Trump out of the picture because in all
Democrats
reality,
too.
I'm looking at this and it's like a Jerry Springer show. You know, I mean, soon they're going to be fighting on stage physically.
No, they're not. That's in Japan.
But just because,
In Korea.
you know, if they're going to attack each other, you know, personally, the way they've been doing, the way Donald Trump has been doing, I should say, then what's next?
They've all been doing it, Alan, not just Donald Trump. Because all of these other guys that are running, or female. Now, just say if he says something negative about Carly Fiorina, everybody says, oh, he's saying it because she's a woman. Gender does not matter. He is saying it because that's what he thinks about her
You're
technical.
adding to it. You're once again
No, I'm
adding to
not.
it.
No, I'm
Gender
not.
does matter to him.
It does not.
Yeah.
He-
Woman is not a piece of ass.
Jack, you're being evil now. Don't do that. Don't do that.
They're just women.
Don't say that.
Right? So
I reject that.
I don't think so. I don't think
I
this
reject
guy,
it.
well, doesn't have a problem.
You know
this
what?
guy does
I
have
reject
I don't
it.
think you're being evil. I don't think evil's even involved in this
But it's
discussion. It
unfair.
shouldn't be involved in the discussion. This has more to do with whether someone's being honest, someone's being presidential, whether someone could control themselves under a certain pressure. I mean, this is not, I mean, there was a lot of people watching, right? What,
24 million.
24 million
Once
people
again-
watching.
once again,
But if you're
we're
the
talking
president,
about-
you have billions of people
Of course.
watching you.
Of
And
course.
if this is the way,
Once again,
I think
back-
he
Well,
choked.
Once again, to the starting
Well, I think
point,
Obama's
to
choked
the
with
starting
his lies
point,
for
my-
6
my
years.
dear brother. Once again,
Yeah.
to the starting point, and we are talking about picking up somebody that we put on the chair of the presidency of the United States. Am I right? we're not picking up anybody from my department, right? We're not doing anybody a favor of that. We want to be sure that we are picking up the best man, the best woman, what is also.
So we should chat about the other candidates too, if what your impressions were of them in
today,
this.
we'll of course do them one by one. When the Democrats
I'll be dead by then.
responded with their debate, we'll do that. My dear audience, it looks a very, very, very hot debate between Alan Diamante, attorney at law, and Ken Hamming, a writer. I try to play the middle. So sometimes I feel resentful about some issues myself, though, excuse me for doing that. And we probably will be back after this very short break, and we'll talk about campaign fundings. We're talking about campaign money.
Oh, okay.
Right, so the fundings, all right? So let's be back, please. Hello, dear friends, dear fellow Americans, you ladies and gentlemen of America. Welcome back to the show. Let's talk about our 2016 election, presidential election. And there's some early birds trying to get some of the worms, or the worms. And we're talking about the GOP debate, which started as the first one last Thursday, and followed by the argument of last Sunday. And there are lots of controversy about Donald Trump's statement made several times upon women, gender, and about loser, winner, whoever definition thing, right? So we're debating, we're basing ourselves on one prerequisite, that is, we got to understand we are picking up the best man or woman for the United States as a president. We're not just, doing anybody a favor or pick up a head for our department. No, right? There is no zero compromise, and this person has to be perfect in all aspects, right? So joining me in the debate on my left-hand side is Mr. Alan Diamante. Alan, once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Alan is a very wonderful attorney. He cares about the community. He is specialized in the field of immigration. You have any immigration problems, go ask him. If you need a number, we're not advertising, but if you call my main office number, we'll let you know, all right? So, and my appreciation goes to him for several times. He takes part in I would say, active part in the debate against Ken Hamming, who is also my wonderful friend, a brother kind of friend, maternal friend.
We are.
Fraternal. So Ken Hamming is a wonderful writer, and he's a philosopher in my eye. He has 100 words to live by to make sure to live a simple life.
Yes.
I checked upon himself, though. Excuse me for saying the following.
Yes, sir.
So you probably need to go back to review your own words.
It's America, freedom of speech.
Freedom.
I read my book about 5 times a month.
Okay, that's good.
I do. I have
6 days, 6 days, right? 6 days per.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Let's go to my last question, because I have several questions listed, but I have only room for one, right? Speaking of the funding for campaign, for election, though, I'm saying, Alan, I have $1 billion, all right? I don't care. I just put the $1 billion in one basket. This is my campaign money. Go ahead and do the advertising. I'm representing my own self. If you cast a vote, though, you represent only one vote. That's yourself. Okay. Now, as far as the other model, the model is that I don't have $1 billion, but I have $1 billion single dollars donated to me. So in that case, it represents 1 billion votes. Of course, we don't have 1 billion people in population.
Right.
I am trying to just make an example. So in these two models, so Alan, how do you read as attorney?
Well, first of all, I would be very concerned that someone could buy the president's.
I agree.
seat.
Thank you.
That really concerns me a lot because I'm worried about someone who's very affluent, very powerful, just being able to buy his way into the White House or any other seat in politics. That's not what I consider.
But that applies to everybody.
That's not what I consider to be the American way or democracy. That might be the epitome of how far capitalism can go, but I think it would be a poor state of affairs for the United States if that happens. On the other hand,
It's not capitalism.
it's sad. It's sad when elected officials feel like they have to or they owe somebody for a contribution, a large contribution. This was alluded to by Donald Trump with respect to Hillary Clinton, that she went to his wedding because he gave her money for the foundation. Now, I'm not sure if that was the reason why she showed up.
Probably friends.
It was probably a factor. I also heard that Bill Clinton called Donald Trump to tell him a few words about entering the race as well. And there's people saying that this is a conspiracy with the Clintons and Donald Trump to really hurt the Republican Party. I don't know if there's anything to support that either. I'm very concerned because I want somebody in the White House who I believe is honest, is a man of his word, who's a good person, who's not going to attack a whole country like Mexico, who's not going to attack China. Especially, he shouldn't attack China, and I'll tell you why he shouldn't attack China. Because he had no problem in terms of generating his money, sending things to be made in China. In fact, I'm wearing a Donald Trump belt. It was a gift.
It was made in
I love it. It was a gift.
Sell it to me.
But I'm not one to re-gift a gift.
Right.
And I'm wearing it, and I looked at where it's made. It's made in China. So he shouldn't be talking bad about China either.
Okay. Same question. We got to give a chance to Cam, please. So how do you respond to my question? Does the money represent votes or himself alone?
Oh, well, number one, Donald Trump is accepting money. If I send him $10, then he'll match it. So he has ways. He's not refusing to accept support also.
I see.
Okay. But my greatest concern is social media and the volume of money. It's away from, nobody talks about deeply what's good for America. It's all about power now, and I'm very sad. We're losing the essence of America's freedom, and I want whoever, they don't talk about the Constitution. I will die for the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and Declaration of Independence. And now so many of our voters don't even know what they are, and that's a true statement. And also a lot of people are saying, that is true though. No, and a lot of people want to change the Constitution, and that makes me very, very ill.
A lot of native-born Americans do not know what the Constitution is.
No, we're not teaching it anymore.
And they can't even make reference to the Bill of Rights.
That's right. You're right.
People that are naturalized are tested on it. So it's very likely that more people that are naturalized know about the Constitution than Native Americans.
Well, that's a good example.
No, it's a nice statement.
But in terms of talking about money, I just want to make one little point, if I may. And I made reference to it on another show about the bankruptcies filed by Donald Trump.
Which is so irrelevant.
And when it was some reference made about his deals in Atlantic City, and then he left Atlantic City.
He did.
But he filed bankruptcy over there, and he was bragging about how he made a lot of money in the deal of leaving Atlantic City. But at the same time, he filed bankruptcy, and I think he filed bankruptcy against, I guess, $1 billion owed to certain lenders. Now, is that the right thing? Is that an honest thing?
And
maybe Cam could explain that.
It's the law. It's the law.
And what he has better say.
I've helped lots of people file bankruptcy, okay? And they've had pure hearts and everything. It's a part of life.
Cam, my dear brother Cam, my dear brother Alan, we are once again talking about, we are picking a president of the United States.
Correct.
We are not talking about a head of my department, right? I want
nothing
this guy
wrong
to
with
be
bankruptcy.
Clean, to be as clear as a crystal ball. You can see from head to toe down there like exactly.
Well, we haven't had that for a while, Jack, in our country.
Yeah.
But
at least we can prevent somebody who has a gender issue.
he doesn't.
All right, anyway.
But the thing is, on bankruptcy, you can be 100% squeaky clean. Donald Trump had the vision ahead of other people to get out of Atlantic City, which has imploded after that, okay?
Right.
So I think that's a sign of leadership and intelligence rather than a sign of despicability.
All right, anyway. So we still got to keep the point. Okay, now, forget Donald Trump, forget Hillary Clinton, forget whoever, Jeb Bush or whatever.
Okay.
Let's step back 100 steps to start from the very, very bottom line. What is your description about the conditions or requirement of somebody who is qualified to be United States president?
Okay. Well, I want somebody who's demonstrated leadership in the United States and also abroad, who has experience in doing international trade or business, who's functioned as an ambassador of the United States, diplomat of sorts, somebody who's well received by the world, and somebody who's squeaky clean, like you mentioned, in terms of honesty. Somebody who's sensitive to not just one class of people in the United States, but sensitive to the majority of people in the United States. Well, to be very careful about what you say, because you shouldn't attack or belittle anybody, whether they're of a different gender, whether they're of a different origin of nationality. If you're and they'll file bankruptcy.
One last question to both of you. Do you think he's a person careful with his word selection?
You know, I think under whatever the circumstances are, he would be bright enough to handle it okay. And the thing, you know, about vision and that, we still don't have a plan to fight ISIS, and that's our president for 6 years now. I don't have a plan. I don't have a strategy.
Donald Trump does?
Well, why don't you give it? Well, because we don't now, Jack.
We don't know yet, right? So
we don't.
Was there an ISIS 6 years ago?
Yeah, we're talking about the character of Donald
Obama
Trump.
created ISIS.
All right, okay.
And that's the truth.
So
like
that's
pulling out of Iraq.
Do not label people, please. Do me a favor.
Well, you
We're
just
talking
labeled
about Donald Trump.
You labeled
Donald
him every
Trump doesn't
negative.
have a way to deal with ISIS either.
That's you don't know that. No, that's a
so-
statement we have no foundation for. We don't.
No, come on. Donald Trump
There's
doesn't
no
have
foundation
to
for it.
deal with me yet. Right? So
Let's invite
why
him.
don't we assume that those things that hasn't happened yet?
you're
We're
assuming he
talking
doesn't
about,
have a plan.
My question was that, is he a person careful with word selection?
Yeah, I have a plan how to deal with ISIS. You find the enemy and you kill them.
ISIS, can please, my
Yeah.
question was that, is he a person careful of his word selection? Yes or no, please?
Well, if you have your plan, you can keep your plan. Is that careful with word selection, Jack? It's not.
Same question, no comment.
It's not.
Same question.
You're
Do you
right.
think
I
he's a
think-
person with careful with word selection?
I don't even think you have to ask me the question. Obviously not. And this is what this big issue is. I don't think the Fox News was out to get him. I don't believe that. I think the problem with Donald Trump, and you know what, again, the idea of having someone in the White House who isn't your lifetime politician, who does special favors for money and so forth, who all of a sudden they become senator and they're millionaires when they weren't
That's true.
before.
That's true.
You know, and for that reason, I find Bernie Sanders to be a little bit more refreshing because he's just asking for people to donate, you know, little money. He doesn't want big money. He doesn't want PAC money. But the thing is, Donald Trump is not that guy that I would like to see. Donald Trump is not the guy. He is independently wealthy for sure. That's not the issue, and he doesn't need to be bought out by anybody. And he speaks his mind. So when he speaks his mind, he seems honest, and I kind of like that. But the problem is when he's being honest, he's revealing. You know, he's revealing who he is.
But he earned his money in the Kennedys got it through illegal booze sales. Okay, so there's a big difference.
It's all bad.
My lady,
I agree.
my dear friends, ladies
It's
and
all-
gentlemen, let's focus on the point. The point is that we're talking about the person, as a candidate, Donald Trump, for president qualified. So, in the debate, my good friend, Alan Diamante, he is attorney at law. On my right-hand side, Ken Brown, Ken Hemming, Ken Brown. I'm so addicted to Brown. Anyway, excuse me, I'm kind of a soul.
I love it.
I figured. Ken Hemming, my good friend, he is a writer, wonderful writer. I love them equally. I love both, but I do not agree with certain extent to certain points to either of them. All right, my dear audience, this is not the first debate, and this is not the last debate. We love it. We love the way that we talk about totally applying to our democracy, right? Freedom of speech, and so thank you very much, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Love you guys.